What's up, guys? It's me again. I've been in the mood lately for making a lot of videos. Things that have meaning to me, talking about life, talking about racism, talking about random things. Today's kind of more of a personal story for me. The story is more for those good guys who get stuck in the friend zone, who just have that feeling that good guys never win. Story means a lot to me. Show you a picture. This here, it's me and my best friend. She's been my best friend for about 4 years. The way we met, very interesting. I was actually at a bowling alley, just enjoying another day, hanging out with a couple friends. And I like soccer. I don't know why. I was fat, couldn't play it, but I really like soccer, so I always had a soccer ball with me. Well, me and my buddy kind of passing the soccer ball back and forth inside this little bowling alley, just there in the front waiting area, waiting for our turn to go bowling. When out of nowhere, I feel this really sharp pain in my side, and next thing I know, I'm on the ground. I look up and I see this maybe $150 girl, little short thing with a beautiful bright smile, just looking down at me, holding my soccer ball. And all I could think is, she just laid me out. I was 300 pounds and she knocked me flat. Everyone was laughing, but the only thing I could do was look up at her, and I made my decision right then and there. I looked up at her. I even told her, I'm like, I'm gonna marry you. She just laughed at it, and we started hanging out, just became friends. But that relationship didn't happen. Through 4 years, she continued to date other men, push me off to the side. When she wasn't dating, I was always there for her. I always seemed to come back and be that shoulder she could cry on. It was hard because, she'd pull me to the side. We'd be out on the point over at the local lake, and she would just look at me and she's like, you need to stop liking me. You need to go away. It's not gonna happen. I don't love you. And she did everything to push me away. She tried to hurt me. She would try dating some really close friends of mine, trying to just try to get it through my thick skull that it wasn't gonna happen. It hurt. It really did hurt. It was hard for me to sit by and watch her date jerks. People who weren't treating her right, who were only in a relationship for the physical side of it. They didn't care who she was. They didn't care about her life. They didn't care about her family pets. They were rude. I didn't get it. But it didn't matter. I understood when she was in a relationship, there wasn't any communication between us. She was pretty dedicated to her boyfriends, and I stayed out of the way. I didn't want to interfere with anything. I didn't want to be that guy who tried to ruin everything for her. I wanted her to be happy, essentially. Problem is, with me doing this, just not being aggressive, not trying to step up, not trying to date her, I got thrown in the friend zone, and I got thrown in hard, and I got thrown in deep. They kind of refer to the friend zone as just this bottomless pit. Well, I got in that bottomless pit, and time after time, every boyfriend she had, I felt like I was getting more buried. Things just never worked, but I did my best to be there for her. July 25th, a year or so ago, she said I do, but not to me. I thought that was it. I was done. I threw in the towel. I quit. I crawled into my friend zone and I buried myself. I didn't care anymore. I tried going on other dates. It just never worked. It was hard because every story I had started off with me and Lee. So it was hard. I dedicated so much time to her, and I wrapped my entire life around her. She was my everything. This past May, something wasn't sitting right with me. I didn't feel good. I just knew something wasn't right. So I started flipping through my phone, just trying to figure out, okay, maybe something's happened to someone. Maybe if I see their name, the feeling will work. And yeah, I still had her number. I came across her phone number, and my heart it felt like someone just took my heart and just squeezed it. I was super anxious. I didn't know what was going on. I hadn't talked to her in over a year. But something wasn't right. So I sent a simple message at like 2 o'clock in the morning and said, "Is this still Lee?" And next morning I woke up to a message that said, "Yes, it is. How'd you know that I needed you?" And I just asked her, I'm like, "Something's wrong. What is it?" And I've always been right. Every time she's broken up, every time something bad's happened, I've had a Lee sense, is what I call it, where I knew something's wrong. So she's like, "Look, I'm getting a divorce. I'm separated. I'm actually in Japan right now." And at that moment, I didn't know whether to jump for joy because she's getting a divorce, she's going to be back on the market, or if I should feel bad. I kind of did both. I said, "Look, I'm sorry. When can I see you?" It was kind of funny. So she got back into town a little bit after that. We had set up a time for us to go hang out at the bowling alley where she knocked me down. And I went and picked her up, and I just saw her, and all the feelings were still there. I looked at her. I told her again, I'm like, "I'm marrying you." She just looked at me and laughed and said, "Okay." Her divorce got finalized. We were planning a wedding a few months after that. One night we were just hanging out. She looked at me and said, "Let's get married tomorrow." So I said, "Done." That's kind of where I wanted to go with this story. The good guys don't always finish last. Sometimes people need to change. Sometimes things need to change. But if you are passionate enough about something or someone, pursue it. It paid off for me. These are a couple of my pictures for engagement photos. Just don't give up, guys. If I can make it out of being buried in the friend zone, I mean, for heaven's sake, she was married, and I still got my best friend. That's what we need to remember. Be the best friend. A woman's going to marry her best friend. Whether she finds a guy and makes him the best friend and marries him, or if you're already her best friend, stay her best friend. Don't give up. It's worth it. I love her to death. We've been married 4 months. She's pregnant. All my plans have come together. Guys, I'm pulling for you. If I can make it, y'all can make it. Don't give up. Keep going. Be the good guy. Don't ever try to be the jerk or the bad guy. Be who you are. That's who she became the friend with. Stay that way.